Hello and welcome to the FTHcast. It's not episode 10 quite yet. This is episode 9. And I am here, of course, with the two greatest people on this side of the Mississippi and then north of the equator and then, I guess, west of the ocean. Kyle. Let's do that again, because I just said your last name.
Oh, God. People are going to...
So now they know we live west or east of the Mississippi.
I know. I basically told everyone where you lived and your last name, and I was about to say your social security number.
Oh.
You raped at night? Good God.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Hello, and welcome to the FTHcast. I am Free the Hawk, also known as Paul, and we are here to talk about video games as gamers. You ready? I'm here with the great and wonderful Kyle. I always want to say the wondrous Kyle.
I'm just kind of ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, because it's really late at night.
I got things to do, man.
Yeah, sure you do. And also,
Not
I am
really.
here. Also, I am here with Nathan.
What up?
How's it going?
You know, pretty good.
Great.
Not gonna lie, Paul, I like the other intro better.
All right. So we're here to talk about games, and of course, we are gamers talking about games. We are not industry insiders. We are not journalists. We are not game developers. We don't do research. We just make all this up off the top of our heads.
We actually don't even own consoles or anything.
We really just play like checkers, mainly Chinese,
And Candy Crush.
and Candy Crush, and sometimes I'll do mazes if I find them in like
My God.
magazines. So we're pretty hardcore. Either way, we're gonna start off with a little bit of news. I want this whole podcast thing to be more about just interesting insights into our minds as gamers on the state of the industry and the state of video games. But the news is always just so interesting, and we can't seem to pull ourselves away from it. Last couple of weeks we had E3. And before that, we had the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One reveal. So we're actually talking about Xbox One because they've changed it up a little bit. Some of their negative stuff has kind of gone away, but not really because everyone's cynical on the internet. But they have reversed all their DRM stuff, which has lost a couple features. But then we heard those features weren't so great in the first place. I don't know. What do you guys think? Has this changed your mind? Are you more likely to get an Xbox sooner or at all for that matter? What about you, Nathan?
Yes, I like it. I mean, that was really the main thing holding me back. The first part was DRM and no use games. So now I got a tough decision. It was easily PS4, but now I'm considering buying an Xbox One.
Yeah. How about you, Kyle?
I'm probably still leaning PS4. I think if they had done... I can't sit here and think that Microsoft did any actual research to think that people were going to like those features to begin with. I mean, if you look at the SimCity launch, the Diablo 3 launch, all had some kind of like always online function, and it was disastrous. So I mean, it was definitely smart on their part to take it all away because, I mean, yeah, I'm more apt to buy one now, but it just kind of goes, I mean, in all their interviews are talking about how just great they think it is and all this and that, and then they finally realize that it's, hey, wait a second, nobody likes this, so let's get rid of it. So they,
Sony is about to destroy us in sales.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna
Oh,
play. Go
wasn't the like, well, I don't, wasn't the like the pre-order rates like 3-1 in favor of PlayStation or something like that?
Oh, really? I didn't see that. I just saw they're both like record-selling pre-orders, but I didn't actually see the numbers.
ahead. Yeah, I know that when I went to pre-order my Xbox, the release day, PlayStations by themselves were sold out, but the Xbox Day One were not sold out. But they were also just called Day One Xboxes, so I don't know if that meant that they were necessarily going to be there on release. They were just called Xbox or the Day One Xbox Ones or whatever.
I think that is their version of the launch edition.
Okay, because I didn't know if maybe it was just they were maybe doing a couple printings of the controller because that's really all it is a.
Yeah, I was about to say it just says Day One on it,
Yeah.
which is pretty dumb, but
Yeah.
oh well.
I mean, I guess maybe it's going to be collectible in about 100 years, but I doubt it.
has 500 extra gigs of hard drive space.
It's going to be just as collectible as all the collector's editions of games that I've bought.
Yeah, true.
So not at all.
So
I would also like to apologize real quick for how many times I call a PS4, PS3, and an Xbox One and Xbox 360. I just want to get that off my chest.
It's really hard. It'll take us years before we get over this. I mean, it was a long cycle. Now we're having to learn new vocabulary. I mean,
Yeah, what
Xbox
is
One
numbers?
doesn't make the PlayStation 4 at least makes sense. Xbox One is kind of confusing, but
What am I going to do with my 360, my PS3?
Dude,
I can't get
backwards compatibility.
I
There's some
know,
good games
but
on there.
no, that's what I mean. But I gotta put them away and get them out whenever I want to. It's just a big hassle. But I can't get rid of them.
you put them away and then you keep passing them down. You give your kid a note and you say, "You pass this down for 3 more generations," and then you sell it. When there's no longer like plugs because it's all like wireless electricity and stuff, those things would be worth a fortune because people won't even know how to turn them on. They'll think this thing probably was amazing. It's like a dishwasher or something. I don't know. I lost my joke there for a second. Anyway, I'm gonna chime in on my position on this whole thing. I'm gonna kind of play super devil's advocate, brothers, because one, I think it's good that they did this for their own sakes and for their own sales, but it's not necessarily going to matter in a few years because the whole DMR thing. And they said this over and over in interviews, and I think people kind of passed it off because they were like, we don't care about what you're saying because it's not really answering the question. But they kept saying, we're preparing ourselves for the future, right? So this stuff, even though it's turned off, is still built into the Xbox One and has been and will be built into the
and
Xbox One.
I fully expect them, honestly, to change back to that. Maybe not within like the first year, but within like the first 3 or 4, I would say.
Yeah, because they're going to have to, because eventually they're going to start developing games and making games with this cloud technology, and if you're going to have to be always online. Like, you're going to have an internet connection to play those games, at least. Maybe not always online, but you're going to have an internet connection to play those games, because part of the computing is going to be done over the cloud. Now, that being said, there's a good chance that they invest in all this stuff, they decide to turn this DRM stuff back on, and PlayStation's like, well, they're going to be more powerful than us. Let's release the PlayStation 5. And then people are like, oh, no DRM PlayStation 5. Let's just go over there or stay with Sony. And then they kind of screw themselves with all this cloud computing. But I kind of got a feeling that Sony might be doing the kind of same idea. Like, in the background and built into this machine is the ability to again do this DRM, or at least this, you have to be online to play these games for the cloud computing, which again is that cloud computing is weird and is foreign and is maybe what's the word I'm looking for, just not comfortable. I don't know. It's going to be beneficial for gamers because now I'm not having to buy a better machine. I'm not having to wait for new machines to come out. I'm not having to spend any money, and all of a sudden my Xbox or my PlayStation is demonstrating better graphics and better processing,
And it's going to result in better prices for games, too. I mean, the cost of games is going to go way down. That's what, the more I thought about it, the original DRM and all that kind of stuff on what they had, it really wasn't that huge of a deal. I mean, it was essentially Steam.
Yeah.
But the fact that you had to connect once every 24 hours, which, I mean, and everyone freaking loves Steam. But if they would have came out and said, if you digital download, there'll be $50 or something like that, then that would
somebody
sell.
Just drop some bullets?
Yeah, sorry.
You reloaded the gun? Okay.
No, but if they would have said digital downloads are like $50 or $40 or something like that, like that would have sold so many people on the console.
But there's also rumors in the beta version of the Steam client, there's been a line in the code that has been found that suggests that Steam might be starting the ability to trade games with other people on Steam, or even share games with other people on Steam. And that's
it's not just demos.
I don't think it's just demos, but it's also this beta version, and it's not even turned on in the beta. They just found it in the code. But like GOG, like I bought a game off GOG, there's no DRM whatsoever. I could literally take this game, put it on a disc, and take it over to your house and install it on your computer. And you wouldn't have to be online at all to play this game, and you would just have it. Like I could just do that.
I mean, that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, and now of course with GOG, a lot of those games are really old and they're only like $5, so it's not like they're losing a lot of money. But they do have some newer games on there, and so there's definitely this idea that's like, okay, fine, DRM's great for anti-piracy. Maybe not, I'm not saying that I wouldn't consider myself giving you a copy of this game or letting you play this game. I would consider that sharing, not not pirating. But there's definitely this idea that in the future we'll be able to share digital copies of things, which I've bought the game. I own this game. Before it was a physical copy, just because it's a digital copy doesn't mean I own this any less. I should be allowed to at least resell it or trade it or something for, something that I consider equal value. And it should be up to me to determine what's equal value. If you want to give me a $5 game for my $60 game, fine. I should be okay to do that.
So that kind of same point. That's I know, Nathan, how you mentioned like really the online restrictions and stuff like that really weren't a big deal for the Xbox, which and that's not necessarily what upset me. I mean, I live in a you know developed urban area, and I do have internet access and stuff like that. But it's kind of
Yeah.
that point where like, so I just bought this $500 system, but I can't access it whenever I want to if I don't have. That's what
Yeah.
bothered me most about it. It was like you spend $500 on it, but it's not really yours if we don't want
Yeah.
it to be. So I
And
think
that's what I
what's
think
really
they've kind of
upset.
messed up. Yeah, I can understand that. They should have done it more like Steam. Like, you have to have the internet connection, I guess, to download a game or like to buy it offline or something like that, clearly. But once you do that, you shouldn't have to connect anymore to be able to play.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Or
they
even
just.
if they're sorry, Paul, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, I think they kind of went headstrong into it and tried to get away with as much as they could. And maybe that was their plan. They were gonna say, we've got the majority of the buyers right now. We have $1 billion, $1 trillion. Let's just see what we can get away with and just turn off with whatever they're not happy with later on. I mean, as far as we know, that was their plan from all along. Like, somewhere down in some office somewhere, there's like 5 guys who planned this all out, and Major Nelson had no idea, and any other people who was like doing the marketing and stuff had no idea. And then later on, there's like, I will just turn it off. Because I remember Major Nelson. There's an interview with Major
That was
Nelson,
hilarious. I saw that.
and he was he was saying, "Oh, there's nothing we can do. I mean, you just don't understand. This is on. There's no way we can turn it off." And then there you go, it's turned off. So
Because the guy literally made the comment, why don't you guys just like switch this? And he was like, oh, are you in the Xbox creative team or something like that? It's not that easy.
yeah,
And then like the next day or 2 days later, yeah, it's just like,
I
oh,
can't
we
remember who it
switched.
was. It's actually it's some YouTuber who's actually pretty big, and it was like he exemplifies the reason that like Xbox was trying not to do any like real interviews, because everyone they did interviews with, like even Adam Sessler, was just like hardcore in the questions and just like really just busting their balls. Okay, enough said. We're gonna move on to our actual topic. That was our subtopic. Now we're moving to an actual topic. Yeah, we planned it out that intricately. We're gonna talk about exclusive games for consoles, and of course we're gonna highlight modern day now. Like, how much does that determine your choices? Like, does an exclusive game for a certain console determine how much you want that console? And of course, we're talking personally, and then let's just start out. Let's do exactly that. Let's start with Kyle this time, and that question that I asked.
Ready to go. I'm sorry. What was it again?
I don't know. No,
No,
it
no,
was
no, I know.
it was do exclusive titles matter?
Yes
you.
and no. Um, I, I got my Xbox 360 because that's what all my friends had, and I wanted to be able to. So it wasn't necessarily a game that made me get that. It was the connectivity, the ease of it. I did get my PlayStation 3 because I wanted to play Metal Gear Solid 4. Um, but since then, looking, obviously at some point I would have gotten a PS3,
Yeah.
regardless of what game I wanted to play on it. It's a Blu-ray player. It's got some of the best, like the Blu-ray eyes in there, really, um, top of the line. So at some point, being a gamer, and this is kind of going in towards the multifunctionality thing, I was like, well, I can have a Blu-ray player and it plays video games, so
Yeah.
why not? Um, but now, like I'm playing The Last of Us, which I would highly recommend. That would be that's
Fantastic game.
yeah, that's the first game in a long time where I would mention somebody if you have money to buy a PlayStation 3, that's worth getting. But like, I, I don't know if Halo is at least not in my opinion. I don't feel like Halo is a system seller for Xbox anymore.
Right.
I
Anymore.
feel like I'm sorry.
I said anymore. It's definitely harder, it seems, to push Halo because it's not the number one first person shooter out there. So I get what you're
Right,
saying.
and then I mean, and as far as that goes, Call of Duty comes out on both systems.
Right.
So again, uh, it just I mean, and even like older games, like I'm looking at my game library right now. Um, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
First, it was on PlayStation. Then it was on PlayStation and GameCube. Then it was on PlayStation, GameCube, the Wii, the 3DS. Like, I think
Now they
Resident
have
Evil
them on
4. Sorry, go
PC, and
ahead.
I was just saying now it's on PC and Xbox too. They've gone like full platform now.
Yeah, I think like Resident Evil 4 is like has to be the most ported game in history. So like
Yeah.
if it just seems like if you wait long enough, you'll eventually get whatever game you want to play.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was disappointed when they did Mass Effect from Xbox to PlayStation, and I feel like they did Metal Gear that way from PlayStation to Xbox.
Yeah. They even have Metal Gears on GameCube. They have a couple on the GameCube because it was originally a Nintendo title, but that was before it was. I mean, it's not the same series really, but anyway.
Now, I don't know how this stuff works, but does like Sony or Microsoft, do they pay these developers more money to make it an exclusive title?
I think they just buy the developer.
I think that's kind of what it is. I think there's a contract that's written that says, okay, we'll help you publish this game if you make it an Xbox exclusive. So basically, we'll give you money, you make it exclusive for us, and then that contract's probably for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then they have to renew it. That would
I
be
would
my
assume it'd
guess.
have to be something like that because I mean, like, yeah, you would just, your amount of games you're selling is just cut in half at least.
Yeah.
So,
But like a
But
lot of
if you're talking 10 million copies, or even if you're talking 2 million copies, if you're talking 2 million copies on the Xbox, that's what you sell, which is fairly
technically,
reasonable.
I mean, that's good, but if you're
Yeah.
freaking Square Enix, that's not good enough.
Yeah, but I mean, for a AAA title, I mean that's good enough. That should be good enough, unless you spend $1 billion on marketing. That's the only time that 2 million isn't enough.
There's never enough money.
Yeah, that's true. So Nathan, what's your overall opinion on like how much does exclusive games affect your decisions on console
Uh,
purchases?
I think quite a bit. I don't know. I guess maybe it's because I'm impatient. I understand what Kyle's saying with several games. Eventually, they end up going to the other system. I feel like there are some hardcore titles like
But
Halo will never go to Sony.
there's
I
a
don't-
few games that you will never see unless that company dies. Like Sonic, we never would have saw Sonic if Sega didn't die. Like if the console didn't die.
Yeah.
And like Mario, we won't see Mario on another system until Nintendo dies. We won't see. I guarantee you, we will never see Halo on another system. We will never see Crash. Well, actually, I think Crash Bandicoot is on another system.
your boy.
Killzone or whatever.
Yeah, Killzone
Yeah, I
or
understand. They're
Jack
at a
and
number,
Dexter
but-
or whoever.
So I think they are somewhat of a console seller. I mean, at least for me, like this time around, Titanfall for me is almost selling me on the Xbox just because how awesome it looks.
I'm jealous of. Right now, I'm still pretty much a PlayStation 4 guy, but I'm pretty jealous of Titanfall. I really am.
And then
see,
again,
but
same thing with
again-
Killzone for Sony. I don't know. I think Killzone looks awesome too. So that's what's kind of keeping me torn is like I'll never be able to play those. At least I won't be able for years, and by that time I could probably care less. So
But I don't think Titanfall's a strong enough title to sell Xbox Ones. I think people who buy
think so.
Xbox Ones
if it was at
will buy
launch,
Titanfall.
I think it would be.
I don't know though, because again, it's just another multiplayer shooter. I guess in my mind it's like, well, that looks just like Battlefield 4 just with mechs. You know, that's in my mind that's what I think. But
But then again, I feel like that's what sells now.
You're right.
It's just first-person multiplayer shooters. Like,
It's not 360, right? It's just Xbox One.
no, it is 360 and
Oh,
Xbox One
God.
and PC.
See,
I think maybe.
they're shooting themselves in the foot because
Yeah,
they could be like, this is the first competitive multiplayer game that we're putting on the next generation. I don't care that it's on PC, but the fact that they're putting it on Xbox 360 also.
Well, they do that with several games, which kind of makes me mad. It's just because you have to dumb down your game because you have to make it run on
Right.
the lowest system.
Yeah, and see, that's what I was
So,
saying. If
Yeah, you have games like
if
Watch
Titan-
Dogs and even Battlefield. It's like, well,
Yeah,
I don't really need to buy a new console because it'll work on my current Gen 1.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like Titanfall, like if they had just done that on Xbox One and not on the Xbox 360, then I would say it's definitely could be marketed as a console seller because
Yeah.
then they could say this is the first like I was saying, the first competitive multiplayer game on the new generation, and I think that could sell a lot of it could sell consoles. For me, I don't know, I've been thinking about it, and at first I was literally just a fanboy. I grew up with an NES. I never got a Super Nintendo. We ended up getting a Sega. Then the Nintendo 64 came out, and I was like, dude, I'm getting a Nintendo 64 because I saw a Sega CD, and the Sega CDs were horrible. And I was like, I'm not going back to Sega. I've never owned a PlayStation. I don't know anything about them. I'm getting a 64, and I got a 64, and then I went to GameCube, and then I think after the GameCube was 360 after GameCube, wasn't it? It came out right after the GameCube came
well,
out.
it may have been
That was the next
for you.
generation, though, right?
Well, I mean, it was Dreamcast, and then PS2, and
But I'm just saying the next generation after the GameCube generation, which was with the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 2, was 360.
you're right. I'm an idiot. I'm confused. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. I'll pat your head later.
Okay, thank you.
So then, yeah, I think I may have gotten a Wii at some point before I got the 360, but eventually I got a 360. And there is a reason I got a 360, and it was for the games that weren't on the Wii, which was basically every video game ever. Like all the good video games that weren't on the Wii. But see, the thing is, other than I think Oblivion, all the games I bought for the Wii were multi-platform, or I mean for the 360 were multi-platform. But for me, it was about my friends. So,
Okay, I have a confession to make. I lied about my statement earlier.
Go ahead.
You mentioned Oblivion, and that is the reason why I bought a 360.
Yeah,
I take everything I said back.
it's definitely one of the reasons I bought a 360. But it was also because I knew my friends had 360s. Like, well, you know what? That's not true either. It was literally just for like Oblivion and some other games that were coming out. I think there was a Square Enix game. Actually, no, it was. Oh, I think I still have it. Oh, what was that game? It was a Square Enix game, and it was like a turn-based. Obviously, it was a turn-based strategy game, but it was like you had like a group of. I won't remember the name because I'm horrible with names, but that's actually the reason I bought it. Was for Square Enix games. And then I figured out all my friends had Xbox 360s. And then I met a bunch of other people on
Yeah.
Xbox.
And that's a
how that
factor
worked.
too with the new ones. I mean, I don't want to buy a console that I can't play with anybody.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or
and
one that doesn't come with a headset in it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! It's just $20.
$20, man. I do not have $20 right now.
If you're
you
buying
can't
a
afford
$500
the
console, you don't
$20,
have $20.
yeah, you shouldn't be buying it in the first place.
No, I mean, if I buy a console, I won't be able to afford another $20. I won't be able to afford anything, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, for me, I guess it was kind of, but again, they weren't exclusives. I just wanted something that had more games on it. I've never bought anything for exclusive titles. So I wonder, to me, it does. At first, when we first brought this topic up before the show, I was like, I'm going to trump them. Exclusive titles matter. But the more I think about it, for me personally, they've never really mattered. I mean, I bought a Wii U because I love Nintendo. I bought a Wii, and then I think I sold it, but my dad had a Wii, so I ended up getting to play like some of the game, like the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Like I eventually got to play that. But yeah, I don't know. Exclusive titles kind of seem a little bit mythy to me, and like myths, like they don't matter is what I mean. Even some of the ones that are being announced for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, like some of the indie games, like Don't Starve, like that's technically a quote unquote console exclusive, but it's also on the PC. So we'll just rule out PC games.
Play that on PC.
Yeah, we can kind of rule that out on PC though. or just rule out the PC in general. I mean, and just talk about console sales.
I think the term exclusive is just becoming a myth because
That's
like
true.
you're talking about Titanfall. Well, it's not really a exclusive to the PS or the Xbox.
It's a
One.
Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah.
Do they own the developers? I'm guessing. Or
They
no?
probably they will see. There's probably somebody that they started up.
Respawn. They're the guys from that left Infinity Ward.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, but
I mean, I
sure
wouldn't be
Microsoft
surprised
doesn't
if that would be one title that would go to Sony eventually.
I could see that if they didn't, especially like after the first year, after this first game, if they do all right, but there's not a lot of sales, because I don't know. To me, dividing that kind of game, like that particular game up. I know we just talked about this, but dividing that game up over so many different grades of consoles, like the Xbox 360 players are not going to be able to play on the Xbox One servers, and they're not going to play on the PC servers. Like they just won't do that. Xbox doesn't do that for these type of games because it just doesn't work. So then you have 3 different servers you have to keep up, which of course the PC you might be able to make your own servers, kind of like most first-person shooters on PCs. But so then I don't know. Like, if I had an Xbox One, am I gonna play a game where most of the people are gonna be on Xbox 360, or like at least half the people are gonna be on the Xbox 360 version? So there's gonna be less people for me to play against. Like, I don't know. I think that's the weirdest decision they made.
And that just comes back to Microsoft and Sony. I don't understand. I think Kyle hit on it one of the earlier podcasts. Like, yeah, we're pushing this next generation like so hard. We want you to, I don't know, buy this new console, but we're still going to support our old console for 5 more years.
Yeah, that makes
That just that's what's yeah. It just seems stupid.
yeah, to me it's like jump in with both feet. Just go for it.
Didn't they stop producing PS2s like just last year in Japan or something like that?
I think so. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I was like, who
Yeah.
still plays on this PS2?
Hardcore gamers. I could see that in Japan because there's a lot of JRPGs on the PlayStation 2, like just like 1,000 of them.
1,000.
1,000 of them. Trust me, I know this. I know my JRPGs. Not really. So I could see that in Japan, but I don't. Yeah, like I was saying, just force me to buy the new console. Like, I'm not going to be mad at Microsoft if they're saying, I'm not going to get you have 1 year to play Xbox 360 and then you're not getting any new games. Like, okay, fine. Or like even if they were just like, you're not getting Halo, or because obviously a publisher is going to be allowed. I mean, if they want to make a Nintendo game on a cartridge, they could do that. Well, I mean, why not? I mean, they could do that and sell it. And they're not going to get published by anybody, but they could sell an NES cartridge. I mean, I guess they couldn't get authenticated by. I guess there's that kind of process that still happens with video games getting authenticated for certain consoles. But I mean, why not force us to buy these new consoles? I know a lot of people be like, well, but I love my 360 and I'm never gonna have $500 because I'm a 12-year-old, and that's fine. I don't care about you.
Oh my god!
I don't care at all. Yeah, get a job. You're 12 years old. What are you doing with your life? I was working when I was 2.
So that's natural. I mean, that's how the economy works. I mean,
In a year, like 5 years is way too much. Give us. I mean,
I was gonna say, dude, maybe like a year or two, then just be like, yeah, give them a heads up after this date. We're
Yeah.
not making any more games for this console, so start saving now, pretty much.
Yeah, especially like right now because the console hasn't even come out. So you got what, 6 months plus 2 years or a year?
Yeah,
they could
plenty
they
of
could
time.
do even better and send out a patch that just corrupts everything on your 360. And it's just-
It just starts smoking. It's a fire hazard. They recall them all back, reskin them and sell them as Xbox One 360s.
Can we talk about the Xbox 360 like super
Slim?
slim?
Super slim.
yeah, super
How
slim.
bad it sucks. God.
I honestly haven't even looked it up because I don't know.
It doesn't have like component outputs on it.
It doesn't have optical audio.
Yeah, it doesn't
out.
have optical audio. Yeah, that's people are like.
So is it
wow.
only HDMI out?
Yep.
That's really weird.
Yeah, so that's what people are
guess
like.
I guess
What's the advantage of upgrading from a slim to this?
Because it's slimmer. Apparently,
It's really
even
not.
that smaller than the.
Yeah.
Like if you took off the Chrome I think it's got chrome around like or I don't know. If you took off like I, I mean, just a tiny bit of the slim, you would have the new Xbox 360.
Well, I don't know. When I heard about it, I never even looked it up because I just don't care. I just
I thought it was pretty pointless. I think maybe initially that's was their fail safe.
yeah.
If people won't buy the the Xbox One, just buy the Xbox
It
360.
goes to that
That's the
same
thing.
thing. Yeah, it goes back to that same thing of you're not helping us buy your new console if you're
Yeah,
providing us with more 360.
And it looks just like the one now. So I mean,
yeah. I felt I was like,
we
why would,
struggled because it looks just like the Wii. So now
It's-
you're going to have ill-informed consumers
You're
going
right.
to the.
It's for foreigners who don't know any better. They're going
That's
to
for
buy
people,
these things because they're
kids' parents that
cheaper.
just go and buy this and everybody's
Yeah.
so excited they got a new console, and then they get home and realize
And
it's
then-
the same freaking
yeah.
thing.
So
It has
that's-
less parts to it, so Xbox is only spending like $10 making it. They're making like $1 million profit off this. That's what it's for. It's because Xbox are money grubbers.
It doesn't cost $1 million.
Oh, okay.
If
But no,
people are dumb enough to
seriously,
buy it,
Exchange rates.
They're going to go to the thing of like, oh, I want the new Xbox. Okay, well, there's 2 new Xboxes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want the new one. Well, there's 2 new ones. I mean, it's
And
just
the thing is, they're gonna go to Best Buy and they're gonna be like, "Those." I mean, people at Best Buy don't know what they're talking about. They don't know anything about anything.
people at Best Buy are crooks. They try to charge people for to update your PS3 when the updates are free.
do what?
Yes, they had signs out. We'll update your PS3 for you for $30.
Wait.
Serious?
I'm dead serious.
The updates are free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
it's like a software update. The latest one brick the PS3, but whatever.
I take my computer to whenever I have like Windows updates on my computer. I take it to Best Buy and they only charge me like $40 to update my computer.
Take mine back and tell me to get Windows 8 off my freaking computer.
You have Windows 8?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'll never make fun of you again. You poor thing. So, that being said, I have a final discussion piece, and it's about exclusive games. Can you
Booth
imagine what it
Dudes
might
7.
be? No, we'll talk to Booth Dudes is for the outro, okay?
First rule of Booth Dudes, you don't talk about Booth Dudes.
Exactly.
My apologies.
No, this is going to be a groundbreaking question. Hard-hitting journalism
Oh my God.
at its best. Your favorite console exclusive. You have 0.35 seconds to answer. Go, Nathan. You love. Sorry, too late.
Ever?
Ever out of all the consoles,
Ever?
out of everything, it can be Atari 32 million, whatever. I don't care. It could be an arcade exclusive. It could be time. What is that? Time Cops or whatever it is. Time, whatever it is, where you shoot. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, whatever.
That's
Pinball.
impossible to narrow it down to one, but
Mine's Kiss Pinball.
what?
I'm just
Dude,
kidding. I'm just
All
kidding.
the games? What?
It's Kiss Pinball. I'm just kidding. Go
Piss
ahead.
Kinball.
Pickleball. Go, Nathan.
Either Ocarina of Time,
I knew you were going to say that, you chump.
it's like the best game ever,
Go
or
ahead.
Halo 1 for the original Xbox.
Oh.
Bad answers. Those are not
That is
the
not a
answers
bad
we were
answer.
looking for.
Halo 1
You are the biggest
redefined
link. Goodbye.
the first person shooter.
You're right. And so did your mother.
Mm.
Kyle, I
Yeah.
don't know. Sorry. It's you, Kyle.
I gotta say, Shenmue 1 on the Dreamcast.
What?
That was like, dude, what? Are you kidding me?
Shenmue 1?
Yes.
What about Shenmue 2?
That came out on the Xbox. So,
I don't know
I
what you're
feel like
talking
I'm
about.
yeah, well, I guess I know more about video games than you do.
I
So,
guess so.
why don't you go play your PC or something?
No. Go tell me about Shenmue.
I hate you.
No, I'm serious. I am curious
Oh,
as
okay.
to what
I'll-
it is and
I'll
why
give-
you like
I'll
it.
give you my the mythos of Shenmue.
Tell me the whole story of the game.
Okay, so got a Dreamcast for my birthday. First game I got for it was like Rainbow Six 3 or something. I don't know. Anyway, and so that's kind of when I first started to get a little more interested in video games. So I'm keeping up with that, and I see this game called Shenmue. It's coming out. It's one of the first games I ever remember having like a real time weather simulator. Um, it just had a bunch of awesome, cool stuff. You play a guy in Japan, I believe, and his father gets killed, and it's this huge game, and you have to find the killer. Pretty simple premises, uh, but for some reason, it was open world, quote unquote,
Yeah.
for the time. I mean, it had big cities. I mean, tons of people. I mean, but it was just really, I don't know that it was like an actual. I didn't play with a guide, so it was the first time I like played a game through where I had to like, uh, solving puzzles for yourself and everything like that. Not that I do that now, but obviously when you're younger.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. It was really awesome. It was one of the first games that I just ever remember being like totally and completely enthralled with, and just couldn't believe that somebody could create something like that. And
I feel like I might actually know what you're talking about. I feel like I
yeah,
might have seen
yeah,
the video.
it's ringing bells now, huh?
He's lying.
You're right.
It really does have a huge cult following. There's like I mean, the second one came out. I played it on Xbox. Um, Liked it.
Now, Nino Cooney is just the best thing ever.
I really actually you
I
say
just
that.
suck at JRPGs, so I wasn't any good at it.
No, I was
really-
making fun of that game. I thought it looked retarded.
Actually, it looks really
You
cool.
know what,
Nathan?
Nathan?
Why don't you get back on your bus and go back to Hillbilly Town where you came from?
go back to your shanty?
Is it my turn now? Because I have no idea what I'm going to say yet. I don't know. There's-
Mario.
Monkey Ball.
I actually some of the NES games, when I start to learn about them, I think, man, that's really cool. Like I learned, like Super Mario Brothers 2, the really weird Super Mario's game, was not originally a Super Mario's game. It like
No, it
didn't
was
have.
skinned with Mario in it.
It really was. And
No,
so
I
like Birdo and all those other people, and then like in Japan it was called like Super Mario USA for a really long time. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool. And then but I can't say that because I didn't know that until today. So it's not like that's the best. I want to say my favorite. Oh man, and there's so many. And actually, the more I think about it, the more I go back to some of the old PC games I used to play.
You are breaking your own like 3-second rule by far by naming this. You do know that, don't you?
What is my 3-second rule?
You gave Nathan like 0.3 seconds.
Oh yeah. Well, you all took forever, so shut up. Gosh, now I lost my train of thought. Now I have no idea what I was gonna say. I'm gonna name 3. I'm just gonna name 3 off the top of my head. First is Myst on the PC. I love that game.
Great
I played
game.
the poop out of it. Point and click adventure. You go to all these different worlds. I read this is how much I love the game. Not only have I beaten it multiple times, not only have I played some of the sequels, I've read one of the books. How about that?
Whoa.
I've read a video game book, and I don't read books very often. It took me like half a year to read it because I'm a very, very slow reader.
I read a video game book once.
Oh, congratulations. Is it your turn to talk? Yeah, I didn't think so. Oh, God, I'm all choked up. Second one, NES, Legend of Zelda. Why? Because
Link to the
it's,
Past.
no, the original Legend of Zelda, NES.
Wow.
Link to the Past was Super Nintendo.
No, it's not.
Link to the Past is Super Nintendo.
Link to the Past is NES.
Link to... Okay, we can talk about this
Oh
after the
my god,
podcast.
you guys. Get your Legend of Zelda history straight.
They're literally... I'm looking at all 3 of the Legend of Zeldas for the Nintendo and Super Nintendo. And Link to the Past is Super Nintendo. I swear to you. But anyway.
You might
so
be right.
No, I'm not. It's not might be. I am right. So the original Legend of Zelda for NES, because it's just another one of those games that I've had forever. I've had the gold cartridge, and it was just so cool. And I just remember like discovering stuff. It was the same thing. It's the same reason I loved Myst. It's just you're always discovering things. Like I just always thought that was really interesting. To like you burn this one random bush and you go down there and you get like 20 coins. Like it's nothing big deal, but it was just cool that there was all these like secrets that you didn't have to do to beat the game, but you could do. And of course all the Zeldas after that pretty much followed the same kind of deal. There was all these just stupid little secrets that were just hidden around the game. Okay, so that was that one. And my third one is actually a really it's a GameCube title, and there's 2 in my head.
Pikmin.
No, it's not Pikmin. Come on. No, it's actually I'm gonna say this one. It's 13. 13 was amazing, and it's a spy game, and it's first-person shooter. It's a spy story, but it's really just a first-person shooter. You're not like sneaking around or anything. It's not like Sam Fisher or anything like that. But it's actually made by some of the same developers who made the original GoldenEye, so it's a really, really good like console shooter. It's not. It feels like an updated GoldenEye. It's not like Halo, where there's like vehicles and large like valleys and stuff. It's very kind of a corridor type shooter. But it was just so good, and it definitely like harkened back to like 007, which again was another really good console exclusive. But it's just like I don't want to say a better version, but it really is kind of a better version. I know there's probably some 007 fans, some GoldenEye fans who are like, oh, there's nothing better than the N64 GoldenEye, except for like every game that came out after that.
I actually hate playing GoldenEye now.
Yeah, it was
the controls
great.
are so broken.
Yeah, I was about to say it was great when it came out because there's nothing like it before.
DK mode with slappers only.
Okay.
Don't get any better than that.
That's my best. That's my best impression of getting a slapper to the face. And
What about the game Shadows of the Empire? That game was amazing.
Do I know what Shadows of the Empire is?
Freaking
you
oh my
better
God.
know.
Get the
or I'm
frick
gonna
out of
come
here, Paul.
Give you a slapper
What was it
to the
on?
face. What?
64. Dash Rendar?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I didn't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God, what a
I
Star
still don't
Wars,
know what you're
dude.
talking about, but I'm sure it's amazing. No, I think I do know what you're talking about. I need to get some Star Wars games for my collection. I don't have any of the Super Star Wars, and I think I have Pod Racer.
You
That's
have
all-
Pod Racer, but you don't have Shadows.
I know. I know.
Yeah, that's like saying you have the Clone Wars game that came bundled with Tetris when the Xbox came out, but you don't have
But I don't.
Shadows of the Empire.
But I don't have KOTOR. That would have been a better.
Oh
reference.
yeah,
Would
Oh,
have been
that
a
game
better.
was
reference.
awesome too.
Mm.
I'm gonna go play that on my iOS device now, you guys.
Oh, cool. Fantastic. Well, since you're leaving, I guess we'll wrap it up here. Ah, what a wonderful podcast. It really was. This is actually a lot more relaxing mentally than the E3 ones. The E3 ones, I was like flipping through notes the whole time, trying to make sure I knew what I was talking about and didn't miss anything. Ugh, gosh. It was a nightmare.
I'm more.
And we weren't
relaxed.
even there.
No, we weren't.
Thank God.
Actually, not even near it, really.
No. Yeah. Matter of
So
fact,
guys, there's a PAX coming up in Seattle in August. Which
is it this August?
yes,
I didn't think there was going to be another one until next year. Wait, in
I'm pretty
Seattle?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you mean PAX Prime? I'm not
Yeah.
going to PAX Prime, dude.
the
I'm not
heck,
going
dude,
all the
it's
way to
PAX.
Seattle. No, dude. I don't have the money for that.
Hey.
We'll go to PAX East. I want to go to PAX East because PAX East is smaller. It'll be more fun.
I want to go to whichever one has more hot guys walking around.
It'll be PAX
Booth
East.
dudes, guys. All right, let's get this subject over with.
What, booth dudes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, your booth dude of the week. Go ahead, Nathan. Booth dude of the week. I'll put a picture up. Send me the link. I'll put a picture up
Just
on
start
YouTube.
tweeting pics of booth dudes of the week.
And if any of you listeners out there want to send any of your resumes in with any headshots or even full body shots, you can
Yeah,
send
full
that
body shots, actually.
to, you can send that to dirtyball69@gmail.com, and I'll reply to you in a timely fashion regarding your
Big old McSleeven.
All right, thank you all for listening and watching and all this. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the YouTubes, especially. Tell us what your favorite consoles exclusives were. Nobody ever comments. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I have friends and family that listen to this, and none of you comment, and it makes me so sad. And none of you like it either, and I know you do because you talked to me about it, you jerks. And you said I want to be on the show. Well, if you want to be on the show, comment and like, and I'll think about it.
maybe if you posted this on your Facebook or something, we would
Yeah, there you go.
consider it.
Share the love. That's how it's gonna be. Whoever gets me the most views, and even though you can't really prove it, gets to be on the show next.
Maybe.
Maybe. Crickets. Okay. So yes, thank you so much for listening. I want to thank you guys for being on the show. Colin, Nathan, you're the best.
Aww.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know you know, because I kiss you goodnight every night. So thank you all for listening, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
Don't forget to come over and tuck me in, Paul.
I will.